FRS-25 engines hit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston, now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
Oh, how cool was that yesterday? It was awesome. And I'm telling you, it was great. So I got home, pumped, right? Like I'm excited. Matt and I were talking about it. Belle and I have been talking about it all day. Obviously, you guys listen to the show. We're talking about the whole thing. So I get home, and I'm like, Charlie. I said, guess what? I said, the rocket ship's getting ready to go in the air. I said, we're going to the moon. And she's like, oh, my goodness. So she goes into her, she's got thousands of stuffies, right? She likes these stuffies. She has alien stuffies. They're her friends. She gives them, names, and she brings them out. She sets them up next to us on the couch. And we watch all of this stuff. And then when they take off, she goes, they're going back to where you came from.
She said that about you?
No, to the aliens. She's got alien stuffies. She was so excited, though. She kept putting her ears. I said, they're getting ready to launch in a minute. She kept putting her fingers in her ears because she thought it was going to be loud, like we could hear it. And I'm like, no, honey, it's on the TV. She goes, I know, but it's, she thought like, okay, it's just down the street. And it's going to come flying by us. She was so excited, though. And she was asking me, where do they sleep? Because when you see inside of there, because you see the big rocket ship and you don't realize that it's the size of your closet, what the people are in. And, man, it was just cool.
Where do they go to the bathroom? Well, right now, nowhere. Oh, we'll get that fixed.
Well, they fixed that. They're like, Houston, the crapper's not working already. 2 minutes in.
All right, we're going to put together a plan. I got to go now.
Yeah, I don't think you guys understand the way this is going to work. The backup was the bags. So my wife asked, too. She goes, what if it doesn't? I said, they have bags. She goes, they have bags? I said, well, what do you expect them to do? She goes, I just thought they wore diapers. I said, no, those are the crazy ones that drive cross-country to stalk their boyfriends. You guys don't remember that story? That was pretty spectacular. She didn't want to stop. She was really
Is she still in jail?
I don't know if she's in jail. She might be in help, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I get up this morning early, as I do, and I go in, and I'm like, all right, cool. So start getting the show ready. And I go, let's see what's going on with Artemis. I spent hours just watching them float around, talk, and it's a trip. It is so cool to watch this. But the number one thing that people were asking about on the streams, the toilet. Talk about the toilet. Talk about the toilet.
What's the first time we've had one on a spaceship?
People are very excited about it. Because I think people think they go to the bathroom, and it shoots out the back of the spaceship.
Well, actually, if you remember Apollo 13, that's how when you would take a leak, they just jet it out into the void.
So it was crazy, though, because I'm up at, early, and to see that there's like 1.75 million on this stream, 750,000 on that stream, and I'm like, man, that's awesome. The other thing, though, I was telling my wife, so as they take off, I said, the great thing about this is, first of all, the excitement building up around it was awesome. Much bigger than I thought it was going to be. But the other side of it was the humanity. Everybody coming together, everybody hanging out. And as I go on, and I'm on TikTok, even though they just took off. And I said, she goes, why are you on TikTok? I said, because I'm watching German television. I'm flipping to Spanish TV, French TV, Australian TV. They're all live there, watching it and broadcasting it. I thought, Japanese, the whole 9 yards. It was so cool. And away they went to the stars and beyond. Now, today's the big day. You know this, Belle. Today's it. Today's the most important day of the trip.
Yep.
It's go, no go. At about an 25-hour mark to 26-hour mark, they make the decision if they fire that other jet, the LIM or whatever, the other rocket, and they break free from Earth, the gravity and everything, and then head off and go to the moon, or that's that.
Break it and come back.
Yeah. They have, and the window is, once they do that, there's no turning back.
They're on the free return trajectory.
Yeah. And so what they were talking about, like today, if something happened right now, they're 2 hours, they could be down. If something happened when they've gone through this, it'll take several days. So that's why there is no return.
You're committed at that point.
Yeah, you've made the commitment. It's like you get that bad haircut, it's too late now. You've made that commitment. There's no getting away from it. There isn't.
That's why I don't cut my hair.
I know, that's why you don't cut your hair. That's why you look delicious. Yeah, man, I got some fun audio later of this guy who owns a vinyl store, and he's got these 3 Gen Z kids that work there, and he starts asking them questions. Like, you have to name the bands, right? And they're like, it's all some 80s bands, a couple 70s, and a lot of 90s bands, and they have no idea how to say half the names. Like RZA. They didn't no chance at RZA. No chance. Depeche Mode, where do you hear what they say?
Did he give him Wu-Tang Clan?
No.
That can count as RZA.
There's one guy, though, this one you can always tell him, like, I told my wife, I said, that guy's going to get a lot of them right. You can tell he's a hipster, right? He's a young kid who lives for vinyl. So he knows the name of these. But the other guys, Sade, good luck. Good luck on that one.
What'd they say, Sadie?
Sadie? Sad? Yeah, stuff like that. It was spectacular. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi, we just found out, it's been ousted.
DOJ Barbie is gone.
Yeah. Gone. The fact that she lasted this long was pretty amazing.
Well, you knew it was coming once the Dow fell below 50K.
Oh, God, yeah. I forgot all about that. Can you believe that? She is, do you think that was the final straw?
Well, if it had returned over 50K, she would have been fine. But, the Dow is no longer over 50,000. So, things got to happen.
The Dow is over 50,000.
Not for you. Not for you, lady. Not for you. Not for anybody right now. The Dow currently is 46,400-ish. Oil, if you guys would like to know, is ugly, 111. So, yeah, there's that.
It's been higher.
It has. It's been higher. It's been lower.
Wasn't it like 125 a barrel when the prices were through the roof on Obama's administration?
Just trying to think. The high we've had, I'm going back to 2000. So during the war, the first days of the war, when the invasion took place and stuff, you got up 20, closed out at 116, 118, somewhere around there. But we've had some times when it's not so much the oil, it's the shock that sends it up, right? Of a situation. And do we have some? Don't we have some? And so for a lot of these things, what happens is sometimes the traders will drive prices up more so than whether or not there's actual access to stuff. But that's what people buy off of.
Markets do not like uncertainty.
No. Markets, that's why whenever you go and look and see who gives big donors, who they give money to, especially in the financial world, they give it to both sides. They don't care who's in. They just want stability. It's easy to predict what goes on with stability. If it's going to be bad, we know it's bad. We don't want volatility and insanity. So I'm not surprised, though, Pam Bondi was lasted this long. Who's next? So Ice Barbie's gone.
Seth.
You think? He's going to be the one, I'm telling you guys, he's going to be the one, if this thing gets squirrely, he's going to be the one to take the biggest.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. Although I hear, what's her name? Maybe next. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, I think.
I still think Hegseth would get it first.
No, because I think
Tulsi's kind of on the back burner right now because, and Hegseth is in the spotlight because of the war.
The problem is, though, you're not going to dump him too early. You want to make sure he's around a bit, right, to take the pounding just in case, And remember, was it last week he said, well, Pete thought it was a good idea to do this kind of thing. He kind of threw him miniature under the bus.
And Kristi Noem is probably not very focused on her job right now. She's trying to make sure.
She doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
But she was probably, it was the worst kept secret, if you guys didn't hear, her husband. He's a little,
cross-dresser.
Little bit of a fetish guy.
Liked cam girls.
but with big boobs.
Big,
Like-
gigantic, ridiculous boobs.
Like fake, like looks so ridiculous. Everybody's got their thing, man. You do you, boo. So, but this is...
Well, what did you expect him to do when his wife is off cavorting with other men?
Yeah. Well, that's also, again, the worst kept secret. So Pam Bondi, oh, yeah, April 15th, there was 99% of people thought she would be ousted by April 15th, according to the poly markets. So that's interesting. Pete's Hegseth, let's take a look at when they think he may be out as we're doing this. By April 30th, no. Howard Lutnick, they say by the end of the month, by the end of the year, 1 in 4 chance. Hegseth by the end of the year, the numbers go way up. But Pam Bondi was the one that was going to be absolutely gone. She should have been gone the day she handed those stupid ass binders out.
Yeah.
They should have fired her right after that. And then the day that she got out there and she said, we've got nothing. And then she said,
Dow is over 50,000.
but you weren't going to fire her at that moment, but it should have come the next day.
Oh, Trump probably loved that, though. Tell them how big the Dow is. Tell them I did it.
Oh, yeah, he totally loved that. But it didn't matter because it doesn't save her.
Dow is over 50,000.
Was never going to save her. They need to start figuring some stuff out there. He needs to start getting some people in there to do some stuff that, that are, better than, we got to get our groove back, whatever that guy says. To revamp our Stoke, let's do that.
Revamp our Stoke.
We need some of that. Because the Dow's not at 50,000. We're stuck in a quagmire in the Middle East, and people are frustrated by the cost of life. And you know what we need?
Revamp our Stoke.
Absolutely, we do. 100%.
I love how casual he lets that out. He just revamp our Stoke.
We always want to revamp the Stoke.
He is not a nervous public speaker.
He is not, but he does that because I believe he's a comedian, but I think he does like big improv and stuff. So performing in front of people that are there to talk about easements is probably not the hardest thing he's ever done. A lot of stuff to talk about today. Obviously, Iran. We'll get into that a little bit later. Trump's speech last night. What'd you guys think of it? Let me know. Want to hear what you think? I'm like, what are we doing? Like, what was this for? There wasn't anything to it. I tweeted out before. Let me tell you what he's going to say. He's going to say, we won. We destroyed their nuclear capabilities, and NATO sucks. It's kind of what he said for the most part. Didn't say NATO, but said, if you guys want your oil, go and get it. Which the Koreans and the Japanese right now are making serious decisions on what's going to happen. They're telling their people to stay home if you can, avoid going to work. Which is crazy.
Do they have a big work from home culture over there?
Mm-mm.
They don't?
No. Especially in Japan. Korea, maybe a little bit more, but no.
Yeah, because especially after work, you got to go out and get drunk with the boss and pass out on the ground.
That's it. You and I talked about that the other day. The culture in Japan, the work hard and party harder.
With your boss
with
and your
your
workers.
boss to show that you're committed to the job. I would fail because I'm a teetotaler, but I would win because I probably rock a karaoke.
Yeah, but it's just hilarious to me that you can see a girl passed out on the sidewalk and people look at her and go, she is rocking it.
Yeah.
She is doing the thing she needs to do.
She's committed to her job. That's a person that's putting in time. She is eventually going to advance.
She puts in her 8 hours and then she does another 7 with the boss at the bar.
Yeah, what they say to her.
Revamp our Stoke.
And she does. But Pam Bondi?
The Dow is over 50,000.
Again, not today. Not for you, darling. Not for you. Although, can we just say for 60? Nice. Now the over-under is, does she get a job at Fox? No, I don't think she gets a job at Fox. Newsmax, I could see. But not Fox. So, Newsmax, yes. And the reason is, I think, because she didn't leave on her own. When you leave on your own, you got a better chance. She didn't leave on her own.
Well, if they give her a show, it'll probably be called like an hour of 50,000 or something like
The
that.
Dow is over 50,000.
That's what it's going to be called. All right, coming up. Let me know what you guys think. Text the program about last night's speech. Talk a little bit about that. A bunch of other good stuff on the way. Aliens. We're going to talk about aliens, right? We're going up to space. Space.
They're already in space.
And we're going to break down some of the cool stuff. Like, how's the bathroom actually work? The guy put it together, and he also put together their sleep, where they sleep, which I also find fascinating because you have to be tethered down now in a way because everybody's got a sleeping bag.
Yep.
So that's kind of cool, too.
And the video I was watching was like they have so many different ways to strap the sleeping bags down to that everything can be used as a tether point.
Yes, everything. Because they said, you don't want to be floating around. And the arms have to be strapped in, too, because they don't want your arms floating around. So much other fun stuff to get to today. And India's doing something insane. I mean, it's crazy. Wait till you guys hear this story as well. Chad Benson, Super Talk, 987. Oh, relief factor. Amazing. Take it every single day. Working out a lot more, doing a lot more with my body, and I'm feeling great. And part of the reason I'm able to work out so much is because of relief factor. Helps with my aches and pains in my joints and my muscles, especially as I'm lifting a little bit more and doing things like that. And the reason is because naturally formulated. You can take it every single day. It's not addictive. It's got omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, all this cool stuff, including ground black pepper extract. And what that's for is it helps your body absorb, and that is incredible. So the more you get, the better you're going to feel. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you're sick and tired of being in pain, especially when it comes to inflammation with your muscles and stuff, and you're just like, I don't know what to do, this is what you do. Relief Factor. I want you to try a 3-week quick start. It is $19.95. They're going to lose money on it, but the thing is they want to show you how committed they are and how much it's going to help you. So go to relieffactor.com now, relieffactor.com, or call 800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
The rumblings apparently true. The U.S. Attorney General no longer has her job. We'll have the latest. Also, another violence threat to a Wilson County school. We'll have the latest. That's coming up at 12:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
WTN, that is us. We got to do a jingle. Should put together a jingle for us.
Let's steal the KRP music and just do it over that.
Okay. Like one of those. Do you remember, like, there was, I think, like one jingle, a big jingle company in LA that did all the jingles because that's what all the jingles sounded the same. K Earth 101, WTY, whatever stuff they would come up with, it was always sounded the exact, just insert, and we can do that here. That's how cool we are. Pam Bondi ousted. No Dow at 50,000 for her. Now the question is, who gets the job? Who is it? Is it going to be Todd Blanche? Nah, see, here's the thing with Blanche. Too much Epstein stuff around him. You can have him as number 2, but that's a hard thing to do, right, with the Epstein stuff? And because, prior to even what took place on the national side, everybody started paying attention to what was going on. He handled a lot of that stuff in Florida. So I'm not sure if that would be the cat that you would go to. But you got to start surrounding yourself with better people. You do. You have to. It was a problem, in when he was, about the whole, like, the election was stolen. Well, don't have the clowns lead the show. Rudy Giuliani is not the person you need in front of everybody.
And when these people get appointed, I would say the vast majority of them are not people that Trump knows. They're people that he does know recommended. It's like, hey, this person would be a great Secretary of Education or blah, 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 blah. And if he trusts the person recommending him, he's like, okay, let's put her up for a nomination.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think his biggest, in the last, in his last administration, I always thought that when Newt offered the opportunity, say what you want about Newt, he's a bit wacky at times, but that guy, he knows D.C. in and out. And you got to surround yourself with somebody who understands some of that stuff. And because he's been there 4 years, he, now he's just kind of going off his gut because he did listen to some other people, but he also surrounded himself with war. It's funny because they're war hawks before, Pompeo and Bolton. They didn't get the dream, which this is their dream right here.
Yeah, they started pushing too hard, and he was like, yeah, you got to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Todd Blanche is the acting AG, but I was just saying, do you appoint him being that close to the Epstein stuff? I don't know. I have no idea. I said Linda McMahon. she has no law experience whatsoever. She couldn't be any worse, right? Like, you can't be any worse than what this lady was. She was, and of all of the people, I thought, heck, first of all, I laughed at Matt Gaetz. No offense, Matt, but we had a little history. So I thought Pete Hegseth, whatever. Wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan when he was on Fox either, but I didn't really watch Fox. But some of the other ones, I was just like, eh. But when, like Doug Burgum, I thought that was a good deal. But when he said Pam Bondi, I thought, well, you know what? She was the AG of Florida. Like, there's not much more you can do outside of being the AG of the country or a Supreme Court justice. And I thought I had higher hopes for her, and only to find out apparently it's not that hard to get a law degree in Florida.
And I would bet that he probably had a conversation with, who's the governor of Florida?
DeSantis?
Yeah, he probably had a conversation with DeSantis. Is like, what do you think? Should I nominate her? And DeSantis was like, absolutely. She's the best.
Didn't Trump say, 4781 said, didn't Trump say something about he's the best at picking people, so you can't use that logic? No. He did say that. He did say that. No doubt about it. I mean, he really did. I know somebody's going to be mad. Oh, I got my law degree in Florida. Oh, I'm just saying. How hard is it? Is it the hardest to get the law degree in Florida? So, yeah, the goal. Now I'm thinking Newsmax. Newsmax is that's where I'm thinking she's going. All right, coming up, guys. Pam Bondi, gone. We already talked about that, but we might talk a little bit more about that. You got your text. I want to know what you guys thought of Trump's speech last night. We'll get to that. Iran. We're also going to talk about aliens. What did Burchett say about aliens? Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 12:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full forecast is coming up. President Trump has ousted Pam Bondi as U.S. Attorney General. You've been hearing about that. A move that comes amid dissatisfaction with how aggressively she pursued Mr. Trump's priorities at the Justice Department, including prosecutions of his perceived political enemies. That's according to multiple sources. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, he's going to be the acting AG. Bondi's expected to be offered a different position in the administration, as it is said Mr. Trump does like Ms. Bondi quite a bit. White House officials have discussed several possibilities as options for a permanent replacement as AG. Lee Zeldin, his name being tossed around. He currently the Senate-confirmed administrator of the EPA. Again, this is just news coming out, so who knows what could transpire when it's all said and done. Just days after increasing security measures, West Wilson Middle School, this is West Wilson Middle School, they've received another threat of violence, according to officials. This morning, the Mount Juliet Police Department announced the threat of violence was delivered through an automated message, which was answered by the department's Advanced Response Communications Center. News 2's Maggie Weaver reports.
Police say that they are still investigating after that threat was made, and it came in through their automated communications system. Now, while situations like this are unsettling, district leaders say that safe planning is happening every single day, whether there's a threat or not. Now, that includes school resource officers here on campus, weapons detection systems, and even police canine units in these schools. Now, many leaders say that most of those safety measures aren't always visible, but they are designed to prevent something before it happens and really protect students at all times.
News 2 also obtained an email that was sent to West Wilson Middle School families this morning. The email states the anonymous call threatened violence, and as a result, the middle school is currently on a soft lockdown. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Wellness Institute of Nashville. Your back hurt? I'm talking about not like you're sore, but I'm talking about serious issues, right? Your back, your neck pain, sciatic, slip disc, bulging disc, things of that nature. Now is the time for you to get over and see my doctor. Should be your doctor, Dr. Mitchell at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You check everything out, painisbad.com, or call 615-246-5009. Make an appointment. You're going to save 47% right off the bat. And they are going to help you, especially with your spinal decompression. What they do there is so incredible. And now, Dr. Mitchell, right, because he's an innovator, Cat knows so much. What has he done? He has himself the Hydrowave machine. Stimulates the stem cells, helps your body in ways you cannot believe. Get your back back. Make this the year you get out of pain and into living a better life, and do it with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Call them today to save 47% off right now. 615-246-5009, 615-246-5009, or go to painisbad.com for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. This portion of the program is brought to you by NCS. No long-term contracts. License number 645. Trump, last night, several of you have echoed this. You know, you guys get all mad. Oh, my God, he looked exhausted last night. Even Bell said, because I said, did you watch it? And he said, no, but he did. He looked exhausted. He looked, let's not forget, too. Let's not cover our eyes, and let's be honest. He looks exhausted. He's probably frustrated as hell. He didn't want this thing to last this long. Thought it would be easy. And now he's in it and trying to figure out what the next step is. But he did. He looked very tired last night. Could use some of that, like Noxema, put that stuff under his eyes. His eyes look a little bit puffy. You know, obviously not getting enough sleep. Trust me, I know what that's like.
A lot of sodium in that Diet Coke, man. It'll puff you up.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
Our objectives are very simple and
Nobody
clear.
knows.
We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, and I mean
that's one thing that I get confused by, because was it in the 80s when we took out half their military in like half their Navy in like 8 hours?
Yeah, they don't have a lot.
Yeah,
he said the other day, it's like we
just sink it all and
we
be
destroyed
done.
160 vessels, and there's like they only had like 90 vessels.
Well, some of those are cigarette boats they use.
Are we bringing them back up and resinking them? Patch it up. I want to resink it. Let's be honest. Okay, their Navy, Captain Crunch could have probably took down half their Navy. Several of you chiming in. So far, when it comes to Pam Bondi in the replacement, we have Judge Dredd, Judge Judy, Judge Joe Williams. Remember Judge Joe? If Wapner was here, you got to put him up there.
Judge Reinhold.
Judge Reinhold. That's right. He'd be good. Judge Dredd would be neat.
Nah, that might be a little overkill.
Oh, Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd. Oh, Sham Blondie is gone, says somebody. That's not very nice.
It's funny, though.
It is. It is. Very good. Very good. Very good. She's gone. She's out.
Or you could do Aaron Judge.
Oh, look at you throwing it down. That's a baseball player for you. Don't.
Oh, I was going to ask.
I don't know if you know this, Jay, but we're going to start doing a new thing next week called Bell Talk Sports Ball, because he knows nothing about sports.
Oh, that ought to be interesting.
So Bell Talk Sports Ball, and you said Aaron Judd, and he's like, "Who's Aaron Judd? Is he a movie? Is that an actress?"
Nobody cares about sports.
Sports ball. Sports ball.
Literally nobody in this country cares about sports.
Be quiet. Everybody
They're
cares.
businesses that won't last.
It's the one thing that brings us together. It is. Continue, sir.
To those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves.
Take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. What are you talking about?
Are we back to the? Do we regain our status as the number one exporter of oil?
Yeah,
we did.
We were the number one exporter, and we were producing more oil even at the end of Biden. The problem for us is two things. Some of is the oils that we need in certain areas. So, like, we need heavy crude in one area. We can take light sweet crude in another area. It's our refining. We don't have enough refineries to kind of push through. We have enough oil. And now that we've taken Venezuela's oil, and we're doing A-okay with that, it's not... The rest of the world's in trouble.
Did he not announce the opening of a new refinery, or that there was a permit granted to build another one?
Yeah, they've decided to drill on polar bears or something. It was one of those things. They're going to drill somewhere that has been off limits.
Well, hasn't there been a moratorium on building new refineries, and that's been causing problems? And now these okay, let's add another one.
The problem with it is you can go buy. There's refineries out there right now that are for sale that just sitting there. The amount of money it would take to get them, refurbish them, and get them up and running is huge. And even with them cutting back on the EPA and stuff, you're still talking hundreds of millions. And then the other part of it is, where are the refineries? Some of them are the West Coast. You got some on the Southeast. Nobody wants one in their backyard. It's like the data center. Nobody wants a data center. We all like to play with AI and do cool stuff, but we don't want the data center, which is totally understandable. Fight it hard. But for us, this isn't the price of oil is going up because in our gasoline, we're buying it on the open market in the whole 9 yards. The rest of the world is going to have way bigger problems as far as their energy goes. But then the food problems, and then all of a sudden the export problems and the import problems, and their stuff is going to cost more to get here. And that's the stuff that's going to end up costing us as well down the line. Not so much that we don't have enough oil. We got a plenty of it. We do. And how are people taking it? Well, let's go to Florida. Apparently people don't understand some of these questions.
If you could pick one word to describe the state of the economy right now, what would that one word be?
All f***ed up.
Yeah, effed up. This guy's in Florida. By the way, it's expensive. And I'm going to say this. If you saw the guy, you thought, ooh, interesting. He's going to also charm us with his wisdom.
All f***ed up.
Continues with no end in sight.
It's crazy, bro. Right now I'm paying $2,600 a month for my rent. You know what I mean? And that ain't no bills included. You know what I mean? Like, this is really, 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 really hard. My wife's about to be pregnant. She's due in about next week. And
I think she's already
it is
pregnant.
Extremely difficult.
Did you know that? I was so weird. I was like, wait, what? She's pregnant?
She's about to be pregnant. She's going to deliver soon.
Yeah, she's pregnant. And next week, she's about to deliver. So she's already ready to be pregnant. And then she's going to have the baby. That's amazing.
If you could pick one word to describe the state of today's economy, what would that word be?
War. A tragedy. Sad.
By the way, in this piece, it's, this guy looks like he's rough and they go to her and it says her name and then underneath it says dancer. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's a midnight ballerina. Just to let you guys know.
Disappointing.
It's not the way it used to be. I don't know, man. It's like survival right now. Everybody on survival mood right now.
Desolate, yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, bad. And by the way, these are all Trump supporters who are frustrated at this. They're frustrated because, I think they thought, well, oil may go up a little bit. They didn't understand the gas side of it. And that's what you really have to look at. It's the gas. The oil prices will take off. Then the gas and the refining and all that stuff will follow.
We voted for him to be, like we say in Spanish, somebody with cojones, you know what I'm saying, with some balls to get in there and be daddy. Take the belt, put everything in action, because now you can see that we are respected across the world again, right?
I struggle every day, and now I'm taking care of my mom who's older, being denied simple things like breathing meds. So gas, what are you going to do? So I don't eat this week because I have to take mom to the doctors tomorrow. And I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people in the same situation, homeless, no place to go, no shelters, no food, no medical.
So you're not going to eat this week because you got to pay for gas. That's a tough thing right there. And that's what people are feeling because people who are living close to the edge or paycheck to paycheck for real, that extra $30 or $40 a week, next thing you know, that's an extra $200 that you don't have.
And anybody, any quote unquote regular person will always 100% judge the economy on, am I able to afford things?
Yes.
Can I pay my electric bill and get the groceries I need?
Absolutely. That right there is the number one thing. Is affordability and does stuff work? That's it. So what's what we care about? Every one of us wants the same thing. If you got kids, you want your kids to go to a good school. You want them to grow up and have opportunities. You want to be able to pay your bills, maybe take a vacation during the year, not worry and sweat your bills that every month you're going to rob Peter to pay Paul and that you've got some opportunities to grow. We all kind of want the same thing. And that's how we're a pocketbook society. If stuff goes down in a handbasket, the party in power is going to pay the price.
And that's why when she made that comment that the Dow was over 50K, it was so stupid because if I can't afford gasoline and I can't pay my water bill, I don't care where the Dow is. If I can pay the water bill and I can get my groceries, then I still don't care where the Dow is.
Yeah. Well,
as a normal, regular person.
If you're 45 right? You got a husband and a wife or whatever it is. You got your family, you're living, and you guys are struggling, right? You're right there. And then all of a sudden, you're losing an extra $200 to $300 a month because of the expense just from gas alone, not counting all the other stuff that's going up. And like you said, telling everybody that the Dow's at 50,000, you're not a full-time trader, so you don't care. You're not pulling your money out. It's great if you're 65, you've paid off your home, and you're pulling out 3 to 5% a year to live off of, and it's running wild. That's great. It's not great if you're having to borrow off your 401k to survive. And more people are doing that. More and more people are doing that. In fact, I was looking at a study. This was crazy. This is scary. About they say 3 months is about what the average family has before they hit, so you could borrow some money here, borrow some money there. If something went sideways, you could get away. But after 3 months, it's catastrophic. And how many right now? I mean, how many of you guys have, I'm sure some of you listening have several $1,000s in the bank. You got nothing to worry about, money. But a lot of you out there, because I hear from you guys, you're doing okay, but you're doing okay in a way where if the wheels wobble and one went down, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to start making decisions. And all it takes is you fall behind one day, then 2 days. The next thing you know, you're running uphill in a sandstorm.
And you won't understand this, and this never hurts you, but do you have any idea how much whiskey is going up? It's absolutely nuts.
I heard about that. Why? Is there some weird, I don't even know. Why would
I
it
have
be
no
going up?
idea. I guess it's just part of the overall inflation rate, but
I'm not a person who drinks.
No imbibing.
At all. So I don't know. Well, so what would it be like? You gone up how? So was it like $20 for whatever?
No, I would say it's probably gone up about 15%, somewhere around there. Which, if you're talking about a pint of whiskey, that's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the overall impact, 15% is a lot.
Well, if anything goes up 15%, you notice that. You do. You absolutely notice that. All right, coming up. Yeah, we're going to talk about the alien stuff next hour. We are. We got some of your text messages about the economy. And tell me how you thought Trump did last night. Good, bad? I thought he looked tired. I thought he rambled. I'm going to be honest. I thought he rambled. He doesn't do well off of... If I was... The problem is you want him to try to keep to something. He doesn't do great off the prompter. I would just say give him like a jumping off point rather than give him a whole speech.
Yeah, because he's not going to follow it anyway.
No, so give him a jumping off point. And then when he comes to the last part of the whatever you put up there, then he needs to follow it so he can get off the stage, because otherwise he could be there for hours. Although 18 minutes last time.
That's got to be one of the shortest speeches he's ever given.
Yeah, we were talking about the refineries. Somebody said, yeah, the new refinery you talk about was Brownsville, and that cost $300 billion.
They'll make it back.
They will, but you're not, the average person's not going to go, hey, that sounds like a great job. We should totally get one of those. We should go buy one of those things.
Let's get 10 more.
Yeah. There's a finite amount of people and companies that can afford something like that. All right, coming up, got some of your text message, a bunch of other good stuff on the way. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. My buddies over at Bulwark are having what they call the Road Show. It's a live webinar. It's tonight. It's called Cutting Through the Market Noise. Absolutely free, 5:30. And it is completely free. It's about 30 to 45 minutes. They're going to show you what they're about when it comes to investing, your retirement, how you lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility, and how you can grow. And their whole thing is how you take advantage, right, using fundamentals of everything, not just we're going to stick some stuff in the market here and a couple mutual funds and just hope, it'll just always return 6 to 8% kind of thing. Their thing is, what can they do to get you to grow the way you want to and protect yourself? So it is free tonight. It's happening 5:30. You can sign up and get a free Know Your Risk portfolio review where they'll break down your portfolio, what's going on in there. Simple and easy. You go to knowyourriskpodcast.com, KNOW, for my friends over at Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investors involved, risks not guarantee. Past performance not guaranteed. Future results. Trek 2648.
The U.S. Attorney General no longer has her job. We'll have the latest on that. Also, new charges against the Nashville father whose son died from a gunshot over the weekend. We'll have all that coming up at 1 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
People are saying the reason whiskey's gone up, distilleries are gone, and tariffs. Tariffs. Oh, that's right. Today's the 1-year anniversary of Liberation Day. Have we been liberated? Do you feel liberated? I do not. I wasn't oppressed, so I didn't need to be liberated. So get a lot of text. It's cool. Some of you liked his speech last night. Some of you didn't. Some say it was good, not great, which totally understand. Paycheck. I'm a paycheck from broke and a month from bankruptcy. That's not good. That is not a good place to be.
Should have paid attention in your economics class in high school.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's
They
right.
don't teach that.
No. Do they even teach? Do they have economics in high school anymore?
No. I remember in my math class, they had 2 days teaching us about banking and how to get a checking account and how a savings account is different. 2 days. That was it. That was the only economic teaching I ever was given in high school, and it was in math class.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I did a statistics class, and we went through like the money, the numbers of money and whatnot. But I don't remember. I remember as a kid when they taught you how to write a letter, like in post, stamps and everything, and you send it to yourself, and it's like the coolest thing ever. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think in the big picture, though, government really prefers economic illiterate.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that way they can grift and rob and everything's cool. It's all good. They're not paying attention. It didn't matter if they are because they can't tell
Plus,
the difference.
the more economically illiterate you are, the more you need the government.
Amen on that one, huh? Huh? Being broke is a self-accountability thing. Right on. There you go. Yeah, being broke can be, stuff happens. But when the government puts you, like we're the same people that are saying this and a lot of stuff like that, they're also mad that Freddie is not trying to do anything about the taxes and putting people out of business. Hey, it's just government, right? They're doing their thing, which we know is BS, right? We understand that. All right, coming up, hour number 2 of the program, let's talk about aliens. Let's talk about them. Are they here? Are they already?
We're going to the moon to bomb them.
Is that what we're doing? It's Chad Benson, so Super Talk 99.7.
It is 1 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Stand by for a complete weather forecast. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, she's been ousted from her position officially today. President Trump made the announcement on social media, though saying she is a great patriot and will now move to a job in the private sector. We hear now from ABC's Rachel Scott.
He then adds that the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, will now be serving as the acting Attorney General of the United States. We have been hearing for days now and weeks, quite frankly, that the president and sources within the administration had been frustrated with Attorney General Pam Bondi over her handling of the Epstein files, but also over accusations that she was not going after the president's perceived political opponents hard enough.
The president addressing the nation last night on the Iran war and said the U.S. role is, quote, nearing completion. But the president also said there would be even more military action for now until things conclude. The president also repeating his calls for NATO allies to help escort ships at the Strait of Hormuz. We hear from ABC's Karen Travers. She's at the White House.
Heard mixed messages from the president on whether or not this operation would end and the strait be reopened. He certainly has laid it out that it could be that the U.S. gets out, declares that the objectives have been met, and the strait remains closed.
Back here in Nashville, Stephen Lamont Phillips, 56 years of age, he was arrested after his 6-year-old son was shot. Well, now he's facing even more charges, including criminal homicide. Phillips was arrested after his son was shot with his gun in his living room, claiming that he had fallen asleep with a gun in his pocket. He said he woke up when he heard a gunshot, saw his son wounded, and then called 911. The child was taken to Vanderbilt's Children's Hospital in extremely critical condition, suffering from a head wound. That little boy later died. Phillips had been charged with aggravated child neglect and unlawful gun possession by a convicted felon, but he's now been issued a warrant charging criminal homicide after his son's passing. It does indeed sound as though there is more to the story. That's the latest news. The weather is up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
This would be a good one to fly off with. Rocking out as your giant jet takes off. The massive, huge.
No, you save this one for when you start dropping bombs on the Moonmen.
Oh, the Moonmen. That's right. And we go after their oil. Do you have oil? Oil!
And all the green cheese.
Oh, you know, it's all made of cheese. They're going to get up there made of cheese. Speaking of the Moonmen, I want you to listen to this. This is Matt Gates. For those of you keeping score. The other day talking about aliens.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
That is the weirdest thing. So, first of all, it's weird that they force them to reproduce. Like, that's what we're doing? We have to force them to reproduce? They're not into us, so they're hybrids. That's an interesting thing right there. The hybrid thing is very interesting. So we had to force them to even want to be with a human. Kind of a trip. That's kind of a trip right there. So you're thinking, okay, there's that. Well, Tim Burchett was on, I think he was on News Nation. One of the only things I'll ever watch when it comes to just any kind of news or stuff outside of, like, yesterday we were talking about, like, CNN, when it comes to breaking news, like the launch and disasters and stuff like that. They're great at that. Everything else, But this was Richard talking about alien stuff.
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers, and we need to. But it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks.
Burchett.
Not a friend of Hillary's, though.
No. Wants to be the next senator of Tennessee. Call Marcia. Put Tim on the phone. He's there. The keep you up at night. Right? Didn't want to comment on whether or not they're hybrid people. And then he talks about people disappearing. So Colonel, what's his name? McCaslin, we talked about him. Do you know there are 4 other people connected with whether it was the Los Alamos, right, who dealt in propulsion and stuff like that worked with those people, along with McCaslin, that have disappeared or somehow died in a weird car wreck. Not super conspiracy, but...
I saw an article where there was another one yesterday.
Oh, was there another one?
Yeah. I didn't pay attention to the name because I wasn't that interested in the overall article, but they said they were tied to the other people.
So McCaslin disappeared. Remember, he just walked away. Left everything at the house and maybe he had an emergency or something, but he just disappeared into the desert. Then you had another lady who was in charge of propulsion who worked at Los Alamos, and the last anybody saw of her was her wandering on the road with nothing. Just no clothes, nothing, just wandering inside the road, and she just disappeared. Another person went out supposedly, out on a camping trip and disappeared. All dealing in and around, the other one worked at Caltech, dealing in and around this kind of stuff. So, yeah, is it, let's get the alien stuff out there. Let's do it.
Maybe that's what happened to Guthrie.
Maybe. You don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened, but I will tell you, it's kind of odd, right? Maybe Savannah's mom got kidnapped. Nancy. Maybe she knew. Maybe she is one of the hybrids.
A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
It's not an interview until it says dadgummit. I think we should. Do we need to know everything? No, we don't need to know everything. But when are you going to tell us? Because you promised us, Trump. I'm going to give you guys aliens. We're waiting for RFK, JFK, MLK, and aliens. Let's get it done. Right now. Let's go. And I don't think they're aliens. I continue to think it's a different dimension. The wrinkle in time. The dimension next to us, we're just starting to learn about it.
That's ridiculous. If that was true, why are we going to bomb our own moon?
Because it's for a lot because of the monsters that live back there. It's like the movie. Belle tells me yesterday, hey, did you see the trailer Backrooms? I'm like, no. I went and looked it up. I'm like, what the hell is that weird-ass trailer you sent me? Backrooms. See, it's that kind of thing. It's a different dimension, different plane. They're not demons.
Liminal space.
Yeah, they're not demons. And so maybe the other you, right? The other you is living in another dimension. They're not as far along as we are. No, we're here. And it's the ripple in time. That I could go for. You know it's coming. I know it's coming. Over 3 million they released the documents for JFK, MLK, RFK, but they're kind of like, it's kind of like Epstein. There's 12 million documents. Here's 3, tells of nothing.
And they didn't release them in a binder.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't have Pam Bondi give them to us in a binder, which would have mattered. I do think it's coming at some point in time. I don't think. At what point do the aliens go, look, here's the deal. Either you're going to tell them or we're going to tell them. And you guys should probably ease them into it. Because we've watched some of your cable news, and there's not a lot of sharp people out there. Oh, goodness me. The only ripple that I understand is what Fred gave to Grady.
That's a reference right there.
That is a reference right there, kids. That is absolutely a reference. If you guys don't know, that was Sanford and Son.
Remember in Forrest Gump when Lieutenant Dan was screaming at Forrest to go down to the liquor store and get another bottle of Ripple?
Another bottle of Ripple.
Well, you know what Fred said when you mix champagne and Ripple?
What?
Sham-pipple.
Get a little sham-pipple? Hey, got some sham-pipple. Isn't it weird when you look and you realize they were our age? When they were doing those shows?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, he was what, like 47 or something like that?
I think Grady was 52.
Yeah.
And what was her name?
LaWanda Page?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was about the same age.
Aunt Esther?
And best friends with Red Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aunt Esther?
Yeah. I mean, he's the one that got her the gig on the show.
That's a good gig if you could get it. Lasted all those years.
Yeah, she was funny. But, you know, like Carol O'Connor, he was like in his mid and late 40s when he started as Archie Bunker.
And you think of him as like late 50s.
The thing that weirds me out the most is Cocoon. Like, they're all in an old folks' home, and Wilford Brimley's like 49 years old.
But he's already got diabetes.
But he's already got the beaties.
Yeah, the diabetes.
The diabetes. You guys don't want diabetes. Nobody wants that. Would we believe in aliens or Project Bluebeam first? Some of you might believe in Project Jim Beam. I don't know.
Project Evan Williams.
Like I said, I think everybody's still thinking of the little green men. I don't think it's the little green men. I believe it is different dimensions. And I think the more that we go into science, as science gets better and better, the more that happens, the more that we start to realize that there are so many other planes and dimensions, and that's what it is. And the more advanced dimensions, who may be thousands of years ahead of us, have figured out how to crack that code and maybe slip from side to side. At least that's my feel. That's me. I don't know. Sham-pipple. Oh, lordy. Is Joe Biden alive or was he an alien? He is. I think he's alive, right? He is?
I think he's an alien.
It's a bad alien. You wouldn't send that alien here.
He's either an alien or he is our first mentally handicapped president of the 21st century.
Yeah, because Reagan, the last 2 years, we wasn't all there.
Yeah, he was definitely. It's funny because everybody would make jokes about how much he would say, I don't remember, and inferring that, he's lying. He's just saying he does. And it turns out that he was in the early stages of dementia and actually didn't remember.
It's not a shock. But we didn't really, we weren't, because it was always just, they're getting old or it's dementia. Like, we didn't know about dementia and Alzheimer's at that point of time. But Reagan is very, and we don't have the media back then like we do now, but with Reagan, once he was gone, he was gone. Like, you never saw him anymore. There was never anything, and then you realize how fast of a decline he had afterwards.
Yeah. And Nancy was extraordinarily protective of him after that diagnosis, too.
Unlike the doctor, Jill Biden, not a licensed medical professional, who would still have him as president if she could, because they did not want to give that up.
She was getting to be a very good marionette artist.
She was doing it all. If you guys haven't heard, Pam Bondi is out. The reason is simple. She wasn't very good.
Trump had pushed for an investigation into Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve, and Bondi's Justice Department has opened a criminal investigation that most people have looked at and said there's nothing there, but nevertheless they have gone and issued subpoenas to the Fed under Jerome Powell. So she has made quite an effort to carry out his wishes at retribution against his political enemies, but not enough for the president.
And that's the big thing. But also, remember, the stuff that they did try to do, they got blown out of the water. Judges threw everything out. She couldn't indict a ham sandwich. And maybe some of the frustration that came with Trump was she more competent, started to realize, I can't. How many more times do I have to go and have somebody go in front of a grand jury to try to get an indictment and them tell us no? Or we do get an indictment, and the first time we go and have a hearing, they say, there's no evidence here, and they throw it out. And it was funny because between Jay's first newscast and his at noon and his second newscast at 1 o'clock, she went from she's going to take another position to now she's going into the private sector. I bet she's got some stuff to say. It's the Epstein stuff. Man, that Epstein stuff, she did not handle that well. And it started with those damn binders. You could always look back and go, this is when it went wrong. It's the jumping the shark, right? The old saying about they ran out of stuff to talk about with Happy Days. They went to California and they had Fonzie jump a shark. And that's when it was the last time it was number one and it collapsed. They jumped the shark. And I think that was her jump the shark moment. And it came early. The fact that she survived this long. Now the betting favorites. Are you guys ready for the betting favorites of who's out next? The betting favorites of who's out next. Gabbard is leading. Trump apparently is already talking and essentially taking a poll on whether she needs to go. So I could see that. He's not. She jacked the pooch when she spoke her mind about Iran didn't have, according to our intelligence, any nukes and weren't trying to get nukes. Bless you. And because of that, that was it. Remember? And then the next time we saw her was when she was in Fulton County when they were taking all the machines and whatnot, which is not her job. So,
yeah, there was no purpose for her to be there.
No, zero. And she was there. So
it was just a bad look.
Yeah. So they neutered her a while ago. And because she didn't want to get into this. And I think she knew our intelligence said there's nothing to see here. So we'll see. All right, coming up. A lot of good stuff still to get to this hour. I got some fun stuff. Serial killer. Somebody just hit that up. We can talk about that. Yesterday, interesting things with serial killers. One from the grave claims another one. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Omaha Steaks. This is what I want you to do. Go to omahasteaks.com. Use my code Benson. Already 50% off. Spring savings event going on right now. But when you use my code Benson, an extra $35 off at checkout. And they've got tons of amazing stuff. From the incredible, you get free burgers, right? Like this amazing spring saving bundle, which got butcher cut, top sirloins and boneless pork chops and all this incredible stuff, to things like Easter dinner. They've got it for you. Whether it's 4 or 8, you build your own. And we're talking about Duroc boneless country ham, individual scallop potatoes, which are awesome. They've got desserts, caramel apple tartlets, baguettes, oh, yummy, with garlic butter. So you could build your own. It's up to you, but it takes your mind off all of that. They've got comfort food like, yes, lasagna, meat lovers lasagna. Yeah, if you're thinking, I'd like tacos, they've got that specially put together. Omaha Steaks delivers time and time again. USDA certified tender when it comes to their steaks. America's Butcher since 1917. 50% off site-wide. Use my code Benson on the way out. All right? And you're going to get an extra $35 off at checkout. Code Benson at checkout at omahasteaks.com. Save an extra $35. omahasteaks.com. See site for detailed terms may apply. Kids, our friends are very busy bee are ready for you. Ready for the Spring Breathe Easy package designed to help homeowners clear out dust, allergens, and pet dander before the summer heat arrives. The powerful package includes AC tune-up, plus indoor professional air quality check, which is good to make sure your air that you're breathing for you and your family is clean and healthy. So you want this, okay? You're going to receive a duct inspection, premium air duct cleaning, removing the buildups, debris, the stuff that's in there that's nasty that maybe, that's going to start circulating. You want that gone. But that's not all. Busy Bee's also going to install a whole home germicidal system to help reduce airborne contaminants. And with premium service, you can get a bonus unit fog deodorizer, leave your system fresh and clean, just like spring itself. Now, you get all this for just $11.99 on a 1.5 to 3 ton system, regularly $1,800, or $1,599 for 3.5 to 5 ton units, regularly $2,100. Call 615-775-7833 or visit busybeehvac.com.
China reacts to last night's speech from the president, and a former coach at a Nashville middle school has found himself in some hot water. We'll have that coming up at 1:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Jason hit me up. Larry hit me up and said, hey, are you going to talk about India? If you guys don't know what India is doing, it's the most insane thing. Are you ready for this? They're trying to count every person in India.
Ain't going to happen.
It's the biggest census ever. They're going for it.
What are they at? 1.2 billion?
1.45.
Oh, okay.
1.6. 1.7.
Yeah, it's climbing that fast.
9 billion people. So I don't know how you're going to do it. So it is the self-enumeration process, and they've got cameras everywhere. So they're going to try to go across and think about. So we think, you think of India and you think of the major hubs, right? Like that, you got all these. Half the country. So you're thinking a half or even a third, right? 450 million people live in tiny villages spread out all over God's green earth. Or what's the one? What's the elephant one? What's that one called? Shiva, yeah. So that's huge. So they're going to try this. I don't know how they're going to do it. Because some of it is going to be you counting yourself, and some of these people live in a village. They're not paying attention to you go count yourself. They're just hoping they don't get eaten by a crocodile, attacked by a tiger, or more than likely bit by a sawscale viper. How could you? Because I wonder what that would be like.
And I can't see the lower castes going, oh, you treat me like crap. I think I'll help.
And one of the reasons they're doing this, because of the caste system. They want to make sure that the lower half is keep
in their place.
Yes, exactly. It is compulsory. So that's what they're saying to do. But I just, how do you, I mean, we have a tough time here doing it. But that's insane. Everybody's just going to walk by camera and do this. And think about, by the time you get it in, because they said they won't even have this done until next year, by the time you get it in, there'll be God knows how many more people and how many more people have died. Because they're the biggest nation on earth.
TV said, just count all the Indian at the call centers and then multiply by 1 million.
I don't think that's very nice. I think that was a very racist thing. Was it? Oh, my God. Everybody's dealt with those call centers. And they call you up. And then they give you their name. And their name's like, my name is Michael. You're like, no, it's not. I'm from USA, America. Main Street.
Which state? Let me check my map.
I'm from Main Street. That's racist. It's not racist. Learn what racism is. And by the way, the Indians, come on, the caste system is very alive and well. China's at 1.2 billion, I think. But there are people out there, scholars out there, who believe that China is closer to 700 million than 1 billion. That they're not counting it in any real way.
So they've been doing that for the last 50 years?
No, I think they peaked and then they stopped counting because they started worrying about that's why they're worried like we are when it comes to.
Well, they did end up with a partial birth rate collapse when they went to the one-child system.
Exactly. And now they have a no-child system because nobody wants to have a kid because they're not dating and they can't afford it.
Well, if you're a guy, do you know how hard it is to find a girlfriend now?
Yeah. Well, especially when you don't leave your house.
Well, they when they had the one-child system, everybody wanted boys.
Yes.
So now there are so many more boys than there are chicks, and the chicks are sitting around going, I'll wait for something better.
It's a sausage fest, is what he's saying.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be. It's not. India doesn't have that problem. All right, coming up, kids. Got some interesting stuff. Serial killers. See, we go from that to serial killers. Because they arrested somebody yesterday that they think may be involved in portions of the Texas killing fields. And would you say he's the most famous? I would say he's probably the most famous serial killer we've had. One of them gets some else credited to him, and I'm sure there's a lot more out there. We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997.
It is 1:30, and I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. We'll get you a weather forecast here in just a few minutes. In ousting Pam Bondi, President Trump has turned the keys over to the Justice Department, over to the Deputy Attorney General. That's a guy named Todd Blanche. Todd, again, has been the second in command up to this point. ABC News' Stephen Portnoy, he's got more from D.C.
At last week's Conservative Political Action Conference in Texas, the now acting Attorney General was asked if Alvin Bragg and Fani Willis, prosecutors who targeted Donald Trump, will ever get justice.
Well, yes. I mean, of course. Look, yes.
Todd Blanche, who once served as the president's personal defense attorney, told conservatives he welcomes the criticism that his department hasn't done enough.
If you think it makes me upset when you go on X and say, come on, Dag Blanche, why aren't you doing more? You don't know me.
President Trump, he addressed the nation last night on the Iran war and said that the U.S. role is nearing completion. The president, though, said there would be even more military action for now. The president also repeating his attack on NATO allies, says they should work to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. But NATO allies, up to this point, they've been reluctant and say that they don't want to get involved in the conflict. ABC's Britt Clinette says China also pushing back.
We also heard from the Chinese spokesperson who said that military means cannot fundamentally solve this problem and that the escalation of the conflict is not in the interest of either side. The root cause of the Strait of Hormuz blockage, they said, is the illegal military operation in Iran. So this is the strongest we've heard from the Chinese as well.
Back here in Music City, a former coach at a Nashville middle school is being accused of stealing funds from the sports program. The Tennessee Comptroller's Office, they haven't named the coach, but they say that he was a football coach at West End Middle School, and he's been referred to the office of the District Attorney General. The Comptroller's Office says the former coach admitted to selling school-owned football gear and using a school debit card for his own personal use. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
USS, United Structural Systems, guess what? They're local. And they're the experts when it comes to foundation and waterproofing here in state of Tennessee. And why? Because they live here. They're not some fly-by-night company. They've been here for 30 years, 30,000 plus happy customers. And they know, first and foremost, they know what the soil's about, right? They know what the ground is about. That means a lot, especially when it comes to your foundation. They understand Tennessee homes. And they are the best around. So whether you're struggling and you're thinking to yourself, man, this, we talk about every crack has a story. Do you know what all the stuff we've been through, the winter, the rains are coming? Do you have water sitting somewhere, right? Is your foundation doing okay? Crawl space, moisture? Maybe it's best to take the guesswork out, get our buddies over there at USS to come diagnose what's going on, because they are the best around when it comes to Tennessee homes. So do this. Call them today, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or visit them online, right, and have them come out to you and give you something to at least make you breathe easier, especially when it comes to your foundation, a lot of other stuff, as the rains get ready to come. Visit them at USSTN.com. serial killers. I wonder how many. We lived in the heyday of the serial killers.
Yeah.
70s and 80s were the heyday.
Without a doubt. Some famous names.
Who do you think's the most famous? Is it Bundy?
I think Bundy's definitely one of them, but you've also,
John Wayne Gacy?
BTK, Richard, what was it? Richard Rader?
Yeah. And then you had the guy in California. God, what was his name?
Zodiac Killer?
The guy that they called the original Night Stalker. And then
Richard Ramirez?
No. There was a guy before him. They didn't really know what but he was the one, and I'm trying to think. They caught him because his niece did a DNA like 23andMe.
Yeah.
And he hadn't killed in years, and he was just an
like
old
an old
dude,
man now?
And they just showed up at his door and said, hey, and he had killed 33 or some ridiculous amount over years.
And they just walked him outside, put him in cuffs.
Yeah.
He was a former cop.
Yeah. That was the Golden State Killer, wasn't it?
Yeah, was that one? And then there was the sleep killer, whatever it was, that guy also in California, where he would go in and obviously he would rape and he would kill while you were sleeping. And it was just, there was a lot of them. We lived in the heyday.
Yeah,
We did.
there was a lot of them.
Bundy.
And then what was the guy's name in Atlanta?
William Wayne, or whatever his name was. Wayne Williams?
Wayne Williams, yeah, and he was killing
children.
Yeah.
The Atlanta child murders.
Elementary and middle school age kids.
And he didn't. It's weird because a lot of those cases, because a lot of the families like, I don't think he killed her, because he was more a weirdo. They thought maybe he killed a few, but the amount, because I remember as a kid that whole thing with the Atlanta child murder, it was just so, because it happened at a frequency that normally.
And wasn't he a teacher?
No, he was I think he worked in radio.
Oh, did he?
Isn't that what he did? I think he worked in.
Don't forget Son of Sam, Berkowitz.
That's right.
That's a very famous one.
Yeah.
And then
Gacy and
you had
and Dahmer. Gacy and Dahmer.
We had the Hillside Stranglers.
I think the only reason Dahmer got the fame that he did, though, was because he was a cannibal.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really kill that many people compared to somebody like Wayne or a John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah, Gacy. They found 33 bodies in his basement.
That's a lot of bodies.
Them's is a lot of bodies. I just remember what the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, did, because I lived in Southern California, and every night my grandmother and aunt, they had bought a new condo because my grandmother, she wanted to downsize, and she was still working, and they both, one worked in the day and the other one worked overnight, and I would go stay with my aunt because my dad's like, you got to go stay with your aunt. And I'm like, why? And he goes, well, because they live next to a freeway, and he would pick houses based on, I think it was like beige or white houses next to freeways. And so I would go stay there, and he's like, you got a gun, you're going to be fine. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, but he gripped, Southern California, there was like, it was crazy. There was times like the city just froze because of him. And then he went to the wrong place and he messed with some vato's grandma and he got his ass whooped. Do you remember seeing him inside the police car? He had his head all taped up because they whooped up on him.
The one thing I remember most about him was being on The Dating Game.
Oh, that's right.
And the woman wouldn't go out with him after the show. She refused to go on the date because she said he seemed like a creep.
Well, he was. And then, of course, he...
Well, but you have to ask yourself, did she dodge a bullet or no? You think he would have tried to kill her?
No,
or
I don't know if he would have tried to kill her because he had an MO, and that would have probably brought too much to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And for him to go out with her and then she vanishes after their date, it would be like A equals B equals C.
He was a weirdo. Michael Jackson was also on there. Also a weirdo. He was on The Dating Game one time. Hi, everybody.
He was?
Yeah. So yesterday...
We got young boys.
Hi, everybody. What's your name? Hi, I'm Michael. That's not very nice. Yesterday, they made an announcement. Ted Bundy. They got So what ended up happening was, again, another situation where you had a DNA test finally revealed that there was the killing that everybody assumed he had done. But when he tried to throw the Hail Mary, remember he was just telling them all these people that he had killed. They thought, nah, you know what? We can't, we don't believe you. It doesn't fit. We think you did it. We're 60% sure, but it's not enough to save your ass from the front.
Yeah, and they had to have enough evidence to convict.
Yes.
They could go, yeah, this guy absolutely did it, but we don't have the evidence.
So Laura Ann Amy, she was 17. It was Halloween night. She was going to walk to the store. She disappeared. They found her body, I think, 2 months later. And now there's irrefutable evidence that Ted Bundy killed her. So they've got DNA match.
Put him on trial.
Yeah, it's too late. He signed a confession. It was vague, they said. And they didn't buy it because there was no physical proof. And they weren't going to, because it didn't matter because it was an open case. They didn't close the case. And it didn't matter because he didn't know where, because he was passing through. He didn't know where she was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I can lead you to 500 bodies kind of thing. So they've now closed that. And then an arrest yesterday in the killing fields. Remember the Texas killing fields? That was another weird thing.
Vaguely.
So Houston and Galveston, it's like 25 miles in between. And they're 30-plus bodies over a few-year kind of period. But it's a weird thing. They think it's probably three or four serial killers. It wasn't one person that did it all. They arrested
that knew each other, or just it was a coincidence?
Maybe. I don't know if they get together. How weird is that? They have like a convention? I have no idea.
Well, I mean, there's been serial killings that have been committed by duos and things like that before, but never like, okay, it's your turn. You go out and do one,
never
and
like
I'll
that.
do one tomorrow.
So,
they're usually doing it together.
The guy they got yesterday, and by the way, the look, spectacular. James Dolph Elmore Jr., right there. He's been charged with manslaughter and tampering with evidence because the person they believe did a lot of the killings was a guy named Clyde Hendrick who killed himself a few weeks ago.
That's dedication to the craft.
Yeah. So they expected he was going to be indicted for murder, and he ended up taking his own life. And they believe this guy helped, that he wasn't the mastermind. And they think he helped cover up two and helped in killing of one. But they believe that there's more out there. Obviously, there's more out there. And it's crazy, now the DNA, because we talk about like with the rape kits, right? And all of these things, how far behind they are trying to match stuff up. I mean, they're so far behind trying to match a lot of this stuff. And if you're dedicated to working on these cases, and a lot of times, especially with serial killers, who are they looking for? They were looking for hookers. They're looking for runaways, people that would not be missed.
Looking for hookers is not exclusive to serial killers.
No, I know that, Bill. But killing them was kind of like, because they're not missed, right? They're fringe society people. So if they were to disappear today, you wouldn't think much of it. They were like, oh, they're gone, but they were always traveling anyways.
Yeah.
Eileen Wuornos, she was another wackadoo.
Oh, she was off her nut.
She was. She did it for...
She was a combination of female serial killer and Charles Manson wannabe. She had that just nutty way that whenever she got interviewed, she would just be a freak about it.
Yeah, and she could change her attitude like
in a heartbeat.
And she was so, first of all, the way they had Charlize Theron morph into her, oh God, that was amazing. That was amazing. The dating game, Hillside Strangler. Yep, that was crazy.
It was Henry Lee Lucas. You remember him?
Oh, God.
And, he was convicted, though, I think, of 11 murders, but they suspected that he may have, as they do with so many serial killers, they suspect that maybe there are many, many more out there that they can't prove.
I think it was, when I was reading today about Ted Bundy, they think there's still 30 out there that are connected to him? But because, again... spread out through time, loose, some of these places where they even found bodies, they were decayed. It's some small town that has 3 people on the police force. And, they have no modern technology. Even to this day, they may have just a computer. Finding some of these people who their identity is, let alone who the killer was, it's virtually impossible.
I can't remember the name of the guy, but I remember reading about one that was a black man, which in and of itself statistically is very unusual. And he was a truck driver or something like that. And he was killing as he would be driving his routes. And he told the police that he calculated he killed probably over 150 people because he's just driving back and forth across the country and finds somebody he wants to kill. He just takes them out. And the Atlanta guy, Wayne
Williams.
Yeah, he was black too. And again, that is so statistically improbable for it to be a black person.
Yeah, I know there was a guy, Bill, in Louisiana, Derek Todd Lee.
Yes.
Who was a black fellow. And he was responsible for, a number of murders, I think like a dozen or so, up and down Baton Rouge, Lafayette, just all over South Louisiana. And it took them years, though, to figure out that as so many cases happen, you had different jurisdictions that were not able to link things together.
No.
And so consequently, he was able to get away with stuff for quite some time because they just didn't put 2 and 2 together with these different police agencies.
And they didn't really know there was no DNA back then.
Right. Comparing notes and stuff. And like, wait a minute, that's the same MO we have.
It's crazy back then. Like I said, it was if it's funny. People are terrified to let kids go out nowadays. Safest time in human history. We ran around. We had kidnapped kids on our milk carton. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Just why? Serial killers run amok. But you know what? I'd walk home from school at 5.
Yeah, and your parents would let you out and say, be home by the time the street lights come on. And I had a cousin whose mother would, when I visited, she would be like, all right, I'll see you guys later. And we would leave. And then she had an air horn when she wanted us to come home. She'd blast the air horn and we knew we had to go home.
You knew who that was? By the way, Wayne Williams, there was 30 killings between July 21st of 79 and May 21st of 81 in Atlanta. They only convicted him of 2 of the killings. The other 28 are still outstanding.
Yeah, and 31 in 2 years is a lot.
It is.
I think BTK was only doing like 2 a year.
This is crazy. Listen to this. On June 9th in 80, death of a 12-year-old boy. June 22nd, the death of a 7-year-old girl. June 23rd, the next day, death of a 10-year-old.
That's just nuts.
Yeah, that's almost spree-esque.
Yeah.
You don't think of it like that.
But you're risking so much to do them that closely together because you're making crime scenes and putting evidence in them.
Yeah. But their evidence was so limited because now, it's like if you just lose a piece of hair, they can figure it out.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is for you to be doing it that quickly is multiplying the risk, almost geometrically.
Yeah. Crazy. Hey, isn't that fun, guys? See, it's better than talking about other crap out there like Iran and the insanity.
Talk more about bombing the aliens.
Oh, the aliens. Oh, speaking of weird stuff, coming up quietly in Silicon Valley, they're doing something. And people are starting to figure out exactly what they're trying to do. We shall discuss that straight ahead. That's called Tease, kids. Chad Bench Show, Super Talk 99.7. All right. You're worried about the market. Are you worried about the what if? Are you thinking, man, what could I do in a market like this? My friends at Bulwark want to talk to you. Tonight, they're doing something cool. 5:30 our time. Absolutely free. I'm telling you guys, it's worth your time. It's about 30 to 45 minutes. My buddy Zach Abraham, Chief Estimate Officer, is going to run it. It is called the Cutting Through the Market Noise. It's a live webinar. They're going to talk about everything from AI to the chaos going on globally and how you can take advantage of that and how investing in the way that they do it, right? When your retirement and your investments it's advantageous to look outside of things just like the U.S. market for opportunities. It's free for you, 5:30 tonight. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's called Cutting Through the Market Noise. My friend Zach, who's amazing, my family goes there. My buddy Jim, just going there. We're all doing it because they know exactly what they're doing, and they're amazing. They really are. So what do? Go to Know Your Risk Podcast to sign up today, KNOW Risk Podcast. Sign up for the free webinar tonight at 5:30 from Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisory service offered through Trek Financial LLC and SEC registered investment advisor. Investment involved risk, not a guarantee. Past performance, not guarantee future results. Trek 2648.
Iran's still remaining defiant, and unemployment numbers are out. So how do they look? We'll have those stories at 2 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
How are they still defiant? Did they hear the speech last night? It's going to be great. It's going to be out. They're never going to get a nuclear weapon, ever. They could try, but it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Nope, nope, nope. He looked so tired last night. He did. All right, guys. Your body, gone. Your brain, there, into a new body. Are you ready for it?
Do we get to pick what the body looks like?
I don't know. My assumption is it's going to be that way, maybe not at first. So there is a new startup, R3 Bio, and they've started up, and a Singapore-based fund called Immortal Dragons and life extension investors, Long Game Ventures, has thrown a ton of money at this. And brainless human clones. So my assumption is it would be they would clone you, and in doing so, transfer your brain into your body. So your new body over here, your old brain here, put them in, and away you go.
Or if they could figure out some way to download your brain.
That's going to come first, I think.
And then transfer the information into the new brain.
You know what I think is going to come first? We're going to learn how to download portions of our memories and brains into certain things. And then, do we sit and wait until we decide, hey, I want one of those instead of this? You know, I want to be 6'2".
Put me in a female body. I've always felt like a woman.
See, there you go. You're actually in the female body at that point in time. But you got a man brain. So be prepared. It's coming, kids. All right, coming up, hour number 3 of the program. What did Lindsey Graham think of last night's speech? Did he
thought it was fabulous.
Super! We'll talk about that. A lot of other good stuff on the way. Chad Ben, Super Talk 99.7.
It is 2 p.m. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. Stand by for a weather forecast. Despite President Trump's assertion that the war in Iran is going to be over soon, Iran shows very little signs of slowing down. ABC's Matt Rivers, he's in Doha, and he's got more.
They continue to fire missiles. We saw more missiles targeting Israel. Just right after the president gave his address, there were missiles flying around this whole region. We've had 2 oil tankers struck in the Strait of Hormuz just this week alone. So what we have seen from the beginning and what we continue to see after this address is a defiant Iran who show no signs, really, of wanting this conflict to end, at least on terms that the United States would like to see.
Well, could DHS employees start to see some back pay when they've been struggling like many folks during this partial shutdown? ABC's Karen Travers, she has the latest.
President Trump said Thursday in a social media post he plans to sign an order soon to pay all employees at the Department of Homeland Security. The announcement comes after he signed a memo last week ordering DHS to get back pay to TSA officers who had not been paid during this partial government shutdown. But tens of thousands of others at DHS, including Coast Guard, FEMA, Secret Service, have not yet been paid. Republican leaders in the House and Senate said Wednesday they agreed on a plan to reopen DHS fully, but have not yet taken the steps to do that.
Well, despite nagging uncertainty in the job market, apparently fewer people were standing in the unemployment line last week. We've got news now from Jim Ryan.
Weekly filings for state unemployment benefits have sunk closer to the 200,000 mark, falling by 9,000 in the week leading up to March 28th to 202,000 applications altogether. Economists were predicting a slight rise in the figure, which is considered an indicator of layoff activity.
Back here in Nashville, Stephen Lamont Phillips. This man's 56 years old. He was the fellow arrested after his 6-year-old son was shot. Well, he's now in bigger trouble. Phillips was arrested after his son was shot with his gun in his living room. He claimed that he had found the gun in a ditch, put it in his pocket, and then fell asleep on his couch. He said he woke up to the sound of a gunshot, saw his little boy wounded, and he had somebody call 911. That child was taken to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital in extremely critical condition, and the little boy later died. Phillips had been charged with aggravated child neglect and unlawful gun possession by a convicted felon, but now he's been issued a warrant charging criminal homicide after that little boy died. That's the latest news. Weather's up next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Happy Thursday. Sports on the program brought to you by NCS, National Certified. NC, boom, boom, boom. What do they got for you? No long-term contracts, license number 645. And yesterday, we were all preparing. We sat back. We watched it happen.
RS-25 engines hit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds.
It's got to be bumpy.
Houston, we're coming back. The crapper's not working, and I forgot to pee.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to pee my pants. I don't know who you think I am. I'll hold it till we get back. Let's go live and see what they're doing right now. Mission Control, they're looking at the Orion tracker, NASA TV, real-time visuals, all this stuff. So today is the day. It's the day. This is the most important thing that they're going to do is going to happen today. And that is making the decision, which will happen probably while Matt's on, of whether or not they're going to go for it. So right now they're still in Earth's gravity. So they have to decide if they're going to go for it. And between really probably around, what time did they take off yesterday? What was it?
5:37.
5:37.
Our time.
So between 6:37 and 7:37, they have to make a decision of if they're going to try to break through Earth's gravity and then hop on to the whipping machine and fly away to the moon, or if they say, we don't think we can do it, then they're not going to do it. I'm pretty sure once they got up there, even with the crapper breaking, they're doing this. I think we all know that.
Well, I don't think the toilet breaking is that critical of an issue
Well,
because
they fixed
it's
it last night.
Well, not only that, but it's the first time they've had one on there. These other systems and stuff are just advanced versions of stuff we've done before. So you sort of expect to have a few bugs in the toilet.
You said bugs in the toilet, as if there were bugs in the toilet. There's not. But that's, if you go and you look at like the YouTube, again, they've got it everywhere. You can go watch it. It's fascinating to watch. I was sitting there because Charlie, she was super excited. We all watched it together as a family. She took out her little stuffies and, that all were aliens. This one green one was sitting next to me. And Charlie was telling us, you're going back to space. They're going up there. It's a trip though, when you look at it and you see there's the rocket ship, all this stuff. And then they're at the top in this little itty bitty capsule, this tiny capsule. As they fly away. So if it's a go, they'll fly out of Earth's gravity today, take off, then they're going to go around the moon, whip around. The issue is, if there is an issue, once they go past a certain place, they can't turn around. So they're taking that ride. Right now, they can be down within a couple hours. But with once they go, there's that, it's the point of no return. And they got to make that decision today. So they're going to do it probably about 6:30-ish.
And everything they're doing right now probably involves double checking all the systems to make sure they're working so that they can feel confident about going.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So they're going to fly around. The big things they're going to test, once they get through this and they decide to go for it, they want to test the life support, but they want to get a good picture of of all the aliens on the other side. Somebody said the space Mormons are already there. Maybe. I don't know.
Well, you have to have a good sight line or you can't bomb them.
No, I know. L. Ron's there. Wait till they find out. Don't tell Trump they've got oil.
They got lithium and all those other heavy metals we need.
I heard space people had oil, and it's our oil, so we're going to take it. We're taking the oil. I fired Pam Bondi. 12 days she was supposed to go speak about Epstein, but we told her no because she's an idiot. I mean, she's a great American patriot. She's a great American patriot.
Parakeet.
She is. She's one of the best. She's fantastic. She got her law degree at a strip mall. But don't worry, though, it was Florida, so everybody passes. I think I might be a lawyer in Florida.
Probably.
Somebody earlier said, I bet you have to know a lot of stuff about gators in law down there.
When not to run them over.
When not, that's exactly it. Oh, man. So, but Bondi, everybody knew she failed. And Trump wants somebody that's going to go out and get his revenge. That's what he wants. And maybe Pam Bondi, maybe she was smarter than we realize. And then she realized, yeah, this isn't going to work. You want us to prosecute people that we're not going to get. We're either going to get an indictment, it's going to get thrown out, or we're going to not get an indictment. I didn't know what was more embarrassing. But the whole thing with Letitia James and all that up in New York, that was super embarrassing. Remember when it was at Alina Hobb or whatever, she went in there and the judge is like, yeah, you didn't fill this paperwork out. Are you okay? This is not your job. Nobody would go with her, the New York district quote, because they knew. See, here's one thing you guys need to know. When it comes to cases at the federal level, they never lose. Ever. They want Go look at I think the number when I last looked at it was they're like 99.6% conviction rate, and a vast majority's never, ever get to court. And the reason? They overcharge, threaten you to bankrupt you, and to put you in jail forever, so you plead out. But they only take cases they know they can win. And maybe they looked and said, we're not, they went after Letitia James, and that didn't work, right? Then they go after Comey, too, and they're like, really? Like everybody they went after so far, it has fallen flat. I don't know what they're doing with with Bolton. I was going to say Michael Bolton. Nothing, because he has cancer, right? Is that what it is?
Yes, brain cancer.
So they're not going to, if you're not going to get a conviction, they're not going to go after it. Because what's the old saying? It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. But they can't even get indictments. And the old saying is you can indict a ham sandwich. Apparently they can't. So, but the big thing was Epstein. She flailed when it came to Epstein. I mean, it was awful.
Hey, you got your binder.
Yeah, the binders. How embarrassing was that? How embarrassing was that for her? And then to have everybody come out, right? They're all standing there because nobody knows why we got binders. And everything in the binder was the same thing that was already out on the internet about Epstein. And so they're all standing around looking, and then she comes out. They come out weeks later and like, there's nothing to see here. We got nothing. There was nothing. It's it.
It was a hoax.
It was a hoax.
The whole thing was a hoax.
Democrat hoax. Really? So the Democrats gave her the binders to give out? They're like, Pam, come here. It's me, the Democrats.
Yeah, there was the ones that said they were going to release all the files after he won the election.
That's so. Yeah, what's his name? Not Kash Patel, who also pushed it, but you had Bongino and all of them out there.
Yeah.
And they flailed. They flailed. And now she's going to have to go and, they were going to have her go and testify. Or she was going to be drawn in and testify in 12 days, I think. Yeah, they wanted no part of that. Especially after the last time she was we all remember the last time she got a chance to speak.
The Dow was over 50,000.
Not anymore.
No, it wasn't. It was for a moment. And it'll be back again. To be honest with you, if the Dow retraced to 40,000, 30, I mean, it's already way over, go look at trading at, 40,000, probably 9 times earnings. Some of these things are trading at like 50 times earnings.
Yeah, there's going to be a correction at some point.
Yes. And that correction is going to be, but you need that every once in a while. You got to come down, get your feet under you.
It's kind of cleaning out the system so you get back to a little bit of reality.
Yes. Because Costco was trading at one time like 35 or 40 times earnings. What? And I like Costco. I love Costco. How did the Dow do today, by the way, everybody? Down 104. Not too bad. Oil, though, $111. Oh, God.
What are mayonnaise futures running at?
That's a good question. That's a damn good question.
That's more important for us.
Yeah, because we can afford mayonnaise. Not anymore, you can't. You know why? Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Mayo has been closed.
We're going to have to go to the bosses and ask for an increase in budget so we can afford more expensive mayonnaise.
Absolutely.
The Dow is over 50,000.
It is not, lady. Get out of here. It was not a shocker that she was. I mean, they've been looking to get rid of her. They should have fired her minutes after this. Somebody should have went in and pulled her from there and go, you're done. We've traded you to another team for a player to be named later.
Or not at all.
And then earlier it was like, well, she's going to work. She's a great Patriot. One of the greatest Patriots of all time. The bestest Patriots. She's going to find another place inside of the administration. Because remember, it's politics. So you fail up or you fail laterally. You don't just fail. And she said, apparently, that she's going to go work in the private sector. I'm thinking, everybody thinks Fox. I'm thinking Newsmax. One American News. Is that still out there? OAN? Is that still a thing?
I think so.
One American News, Newsmax, whatever Carrie Lake's running, one of those things. That's where she'd probably go. I don't think Fox will touch her because she is. Yeah, I don't think Fox will. They won't touch her, and they've probably been told don't talk to her, because just in case, because you never know. Hell hath a woman. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Yeah, OAN still.
It's still a thing.
Yeah.
OAN, One American News. Maybe I should go work for the MyPillow guy. He's got a news channel. So that's the way
Get
it's
paid
going.
in pillows.
It's just
sheets.
It's just news. In today's Pillow Talk.
That'll be the name of her show.
Oh.
The Dow is over 50,000.
No. It will be again. Not today, though. Not today. Not going to happen today, but it will be again. Again. So just put that out there. So we're going to talk a little bit coming up about Trump's speech last night. I got to be honest with you. I wasn't impressed. I thought it was a rambling speech. He didn't sell. Nobody. We're going to get into it a little bit. I wasn't that impressed with it. And a lot of you were. He looked sleepy.
He looked exhausted.
He did.
And I think that's part of the reason he wasn't selling it well.
Yeah.
Because he's just tired and he's like, can I get, and that's why it was so short. He's thinking, can I get this thing over with? I'm going to nap.
Yeah. Does anybody believe me
not
anymore?
Not a Biden nap where he goes in and sits naked in the Chase Lounge by the pool, but like a real nap where he goes to his room for about an hour and a half and sleeps.
Oh, does anybody even believe me anymore? I don't know if I believe me. Oh, yes. The Strait of Hormuz needs to open again. Have you seen the price of Vienna sausages? No, they're huge. They're not. They're smaller, but still. The people that are getting hurt the most out of this isn't America as far as the immediate energy. We'll feel inflation and prices. The rest of the world's going to feel it big time, though.
If you want your Vienna sausages, go get them.
Oh, that's right. Just take them. Trump told me it was okay just to take oil. That's why he basically told us last night it was fine if we siphoned our neighbors' tanks. Go ahead and do it.
He's just not going to give you the tube.
No.
To do it.
Tennessee, we're up $1.27 in a month. That's our price. $1.27. Up.
I feel lucky that where I'm buying, it's only up $6.60.
Kroger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was paying $3.29 about a month ago, and now it's at $3.89.
A little expensive. Little expensive now.
Well,
right?
I can't complain too loudly if other people are up $1.27.
Well, that's us that's up. Well, you know what, though? When did you fill up last?
Saturday.
Go check today.
Well, I was there yesterday because I stop in every day, and it was at $3.89. Yeah, $3.89.
There you go. So gas prices are going to be going up. This is going to take a while. Strait of Hormuz. I think the Brits met today with 40 nations trying to figure out how they can implore the Iranians to get on board. And if I'm Iran, right, why would you? No chance. No chance in hell. We're going to make everybody's life miserable because we were attacked. And so if you think it's bad now, wait and see what could happen. So we'll see. All right, coming up today, it's going to be great. A lot of good stuff still to get to. The Lindsey Graham stuff, we're going to play some of that stuff because last night it was just like, God, Lindsey, just cup him. Cup him, Lindsey. Him at Disneyland. I mean, God, that is just ridiculous. We'll talk a little bit about that. Reese's. Found out what happened with Reese's. Very interesting.
Talking about the theft or the
cups. The Reese's peanut butter cups, the whole thing.
Okay, so this isn't about the formula.
No.
Okay.
This is about the formula. It's not about the Kit Kat, Nestle, Reese's.
Oh, different
Hershey.
thing. Okay, got it.
Get your candy right, bro. All right? We'll talk about that straight ahead. Chap Ben Show, Super Talk 997. Oh, kids. Omaha steaks. Delicious. Amazing. Last night, I said, honey, what do you want to do for dinner? She goes, I'm going to make us, she goes, I took out the Omaha steak, the burgers. And I said, oh, cool. So we're going to have burgers. She goes, no, you can check this out. So she took the hamburgers and she fried them up. And then rather than just chop them up little bits and pieces to make the tacos, she cut them up. And almost it was like eating a steak taco, like carne asada, rather than, it was just the most amazing tacos in the world. Incredible. Why? Because the meat is amazing. And right now, 50% off site-wide. While everything else is going up, they're bringing down their prices for USDA-certified tender with the amazing fillets. They've got stuff like lasagna, shepherd's pie, all this comfort food ready for you. And they're ready to help you when it comes to Easter dinner with amazing, incredible ham, the garlic baguettes that are amazing, incredible. You're going to love all of what they have to offer you at a price not going to break the bank. And it's 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. You're not happy, get your money back. It's that simple. America's Butcher since 1917. And right now, not only are you going to save 50% when you use my code Benson, you're going to get an extra $35 off at checkout. Go to omahasteaks.com, use my code Benson to get $35 off at checkout. omahasteaks.com, code Benson saves you an extra $35. omahasteaks.com, see site for details. Terms may apply.
As you've probably been hearing, Pam Bondi no longer the U.S. Attorney General. So who will be taking her place? Also, another violence threat to a Wilson County school. We'll have the latest. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I can't believe Pam Bondi's gone.
Dow is over 50,000.
You know what she should do? Lingerie and the law.
There you go. Oh, hey, we have a new great value recall.
That's not a great value. What is it?
It is the great value fully cooked dino-shaped chicken breast nuggets. They contain unsafe levels of lead,
no chicken,
which would mean any lead at all.
Yeah, you don't want to eat lead. You guys are going to love our chicken nuggets. They're made of mercury.
Is this some sort of their business model now?
You know what's weird about this? Have you noticed that every time there's some sort of weird, great, value recall that Ken's not here. Ken is?
No, he's usually the one pumping them out.
No,
the only reason I looked this up is I wanted to make sure we didn't miss it because we want to be consistent
with our great value.
Our great value recalls.
God, poor great value. I can't believe that happened to great value. That's bad, everybody. It's a bad thing.
Well, it's coming out of their own factories. Fix your stuff.
You know what? That factory probably produces 100 different, groups, things, small, medium, large. It's kind of like when they go and you find out where a Birkin is actually made. That's a handbag for those you don't know. Hermes. That Birkin.
Yeah, whenever I buy something that is meant to be heat and eat, I always my preference is the arsenic brand, but I'll take the strychnine if they don't have the arsenic.
You got enough strychnine in it? You don't. OnlyFans. See, they get it. OnlyFans. So my friend, who is an attorney, and I love her to death, and she's amazing, and she's now a judge in Phoenix, and we used to say all the time, I said, I used to joke with Monica. I said, Monica, she goes, I don't even know what I would do. She goes, if I was younger, because I told her, I said, you know what you should do, Monica? She goes, I want to make more money. I said, you should do lingerie in the law. She goes, what's that? I said, just give out just do OnlyFans, but just in lingerie and give out law advice. And she goes, if I was younger, because she thought she could. She goes, if I was younger, she goes, and if I wasn't married and had kids, she goes, I'd absolutely do it. I said, hell yeah. I said, because first of all, you're good looking, so people are going to gravitate towards that. But you're also a lawyer, so people want, free advice.
But she's also going to have to say laws may vary in your area.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to have a disclaimer, right?
Yeah.
Check with the lawyer. But, you're just giving out,
I may be naked, but that doesn't mean I love you.
True. It's a very true story. Never truer words were spoken. Never truer words were spoken right there. Lingerie. See, now I would not do lingerie in the law. Although maybe. At Florida I could, because as we found out today, apparently anybody could be a lawyer in Florida. Coming up, Trump spoke last night. We'll talk a little bit about that. Very interesting. Tiger Woods, you see they released all the videos. He is leaving the country to go get therapy. The judge told him it was
rehab.
Okay. Mm-hmm. They all go to rehab. I'm assuming Switzerland, probably France, most likely Switzerland.
I would go to the Betty Ford Clinic, but that's only $10,000, and I'd rather go to Europe because that's $75,000.
It's one of those ones where you're going to get a massage and the whole 9 yards. So we'll talk a bit about that, among other things. Straight ahead, Chad Ben Show, Super Talk 997.
It is 2:30. I'm Jay Harper with your top stories. A full forecast is on the way. Pam Bondi is OUT as Attorney General. President Trump, he made the announcement on social media saying he's sending her off to have a role in the private sector, apparently. Todd Blanche, the deputy AG, will now serve as the acting Attorney General. ABC's Pierre Thomas has more.
Todd Blanche, the acting Attorney General, is a person who has, played a key role in the DAG position, Deputy Attorney General. They essentially run the building on a day-to-day basis in terms of major cases. So there will be a relatively smooth transition in that regard. But there are major issues that the Justice Department has to confront, and now there will be for Todd Blanche to deal with, as well as the politics.
Now here in Middle Tennessee, just days after increasing security measures, West Wilson Middle School has received another threat of violence. That's according to officials this morning. The Mount Juliet Police Department announced the threat of violence was delivered through an automated message, which was answered by the department's Advanced Response Communications Center. News 2's Maggie Weaver reports.
Police say that they are still investigating after that threat was made, and it came in through their automated communications system. Now, while situations like this are unsettling, district leaders say that safe planning is happening every single day, whether there's a threat or not. Now, that includes school resource officers here on campus, weapons detection systems, and even police canine units in these schools. Now, many leaders say that most of those safety safety measures aren't always visible, but they are designed to prevent something before it happens and really protect students at all times.
Joseph Padilla, he's chairman of the Wilson County School Board. He's also reassuring parents.
I tell the Wilson County community out there that we're going to do everything we can to keep your children safe when there's a threat and when there's not a threat. And that if there's ever any concerns, please reach out, and we'll talk you through all the things that we can tell you about we do, and there's things in the background that we can't tell you about, but I promise you there's layers and layers and layers of security that we have put in place to take care of your children.
An email was sent to West Wilson Middle School families this morning alerting them about this anonymous call, and as a result, the middle school was put on a soft lockdown. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Jay Harper, WTN News.
Beacon Capital Management, local, amazing. They're ready to help you when it comes to all things retirement, from your healthcare needs. Oh, yeah. What about that? To maybe your needs when it comes to long-term care or estate planning or taxes. Yeah. And, of course, the dollars and cents, because nobody wants to do what? Unretire because you're forced to, because you're outliving your money. And that's where they come in. Beacon's awesome. This is what I want you to do. Write this number down, 615-488-9303. And call them today. They're amazing. Get a free personalized financial consultation. They'll walk you through everything from the taxes to the opportunities for you if you're over 65 to get an additional $6,000 off on your taxes, not a full elimination of Social Security taxes, but ways that you can take these opportunities right now that I think is awesome, right? Take them while you can. On top of that, they're going to help you with all things, like estate planning. A lot of people don't think about that. Right? You don't want people fighting over your life that you work so hard for after you're gone, because that's not a good thing. They'll help you with that. So call them today. Get that free personalized financial consultation with Beacon, 615-488-9303, 615-488-9303, or online at beaconcm.com. Brad Reese's speaking out about cocoa.
Well, cocoa prices have dropped 70%, and so they're not going to give up. They're not going to drop the prices of the product. Okay, and I have to call it for what it is. Milton Hershey, one of his famous mottos was "Give them quality. That's your best advertising." Okay, and Reese's is so beloved that you can't mess with the architecture, the sensory taste of peanut butter and milk chocolate. People are used to it. Why they're doing what they're doing in Europe and the UK is because the citizens there is a recent introduction. Reese's is a recent product for them. So they don't have a background on what it tasted like with real milk chocolate and real peanut butter. So that's why they're doing it over there, because if they did that here, people would, well, they would revolt.
And we have. So this is what I found out about this. You guys in a little something. First of all, do you know why I love Reese's so much?
Because you're weird.
A little bit of that. When I was a kid, so I was probably fourth grade, whatever age that is. I had several seizures, bad. And they took me in and they said, he's got a inoperable tumor. So we're going to try to shrink it, do all these kind of things. So they put me on the worst diet you could ever be on. Now, mind you, I have ADHD. I play soccer 10 hours a day as a kid. At the time I was a beanpole. And then I was on stuff that I couldn't put any weight on. But they allowed me to have one thing a day where there was sugar. I didn't have sugar and it was a peanut butter cup.
One a day?
One a day.
How big was it?
Just a regular old peanut butter cup.
Should have been the size of a pie.
It should have been the size of a pie. So that's why I loved it. And I found out after going through all kinds of stuff with my brain, scans, all this stuff, I missed a year of school, that I actually had a scar on my brain. And I was like, so that's the problem. So what he's talking about, so in Europe, again, when I was over there, it sucked. They didn't have Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh, my mom used to have to send them to me. And so now that they have it, they can't put, unless it's milk chocolate, you can't put milk. If it's not milk chocolate, you can't put it. So they got this fake chocolate over here. But on the regular peanut butter cups, so when you get just the peanut butter cups and the regular old peanut butter cups in the 2-pack, everything's the same. And why I was talking to yesterday Mason about why they tasted so weird. And I asked my wife last night, she goes, they did. We got any of the ones that are the Easter eggs, the Santa Claus, all that stuff, those are the ones they changed.
What's the point of having two different formulas? Seems like that just complicates your production.
I think probably because the production is so smooth and you produce so many.
No, that's the peanut butter.
Yeah.
The peanut butter smooth.
They changed the peanut butter too as well. But because you're doing a small amount and it's only for a certain time of a Santa Claus or a ghost or whatever.
That makes sense.
They probably tried to, and they said, okay, we're going to go back to it because Brad
wasn't having it.
Yeah. Brad was not having it. You got to love that. Like, this is his family. And by the way, if you guys want to know how to pronounce it correctly.
Well, the family itself, the members of the Reese family and Hershey, we've always pronounced it Reese's. But there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's, and there's no wrong way to pronounce Reese's. And people say Reese's Pieces. I mean, I think it's kind of cute. So either way, I think it's great.
I thought there was no wrong way to eat a Kit Kat.
They've been stolen. Did you download the app yet?
The Kit Kat app?
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah, download the Kit Kat app if you guys want to. You download it. Then when you buy a Kit Kat, you scan like the code on the back, so it'll have the serial number, and it will tell you immediately if it's been stolen. And they were like, we're serious about this. And like, sure you are. It's a great way for you guys to do PR.
So how many stolen Kit Kats do I have to find before they give me a free box?
I think if you find one and you report them, they give you something. So we'll find out.
They give you one of those crappy Easter egg tasting ones that
probably. No, Kit Kat. Is it Twix left and right?
Yes.
Okay. They're Republican and Democrat. That's the way that works. Last night, Trump Mosey's on Saunters would be just, he was slow. It was not his best night.
Our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's navy, which is now absolutely destroyed.
Oh, phew, gone. And of course, destroying all the other stuff. Nuclear. Got to make sure they're not nuclear, right? Make sure they're not nuclear at all.
For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes.
So, I don't know what's next when it comes to, are we going to go in and try to procure all of the stuff?
He changed his mind, said he doesn't need the uranium.
Oh, he doesn't? You guys keep it.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah.
You still win.
I changed my mind. We're not doing it. When's Good Friday? Is that next? It's this.
Sir, every Friday is Good Friday.
Well, I know that. Easter is when? This is how much I know about Easter right now. The 5th. So it's this weekend. So Good Friday's tomorrow. So the market's probably closed tomorrow, if I'm correct.
I would be surprised if it wasn't.
So if the market is closed tomorrow, I could see them trying to do something tonight into tomorrow, because it's a 3-day weekend. So even if something didn't happen that was great, or they put boots or something like that, the reaction would be different. And you have a little breathing room between the markets up, because everything he does is based on market. That's everything he does, because it's all about the show. It's all about the numbers. It's not about any of the other stuff. You got to make sure, keep the gas prices low, keep the Dow high. That's a win for him. That's a win for everybody, but that's what he's looking at. And that's why, if you ever notice, his announcements come 20 minutes before the Dow opens. So Lindsey Graham then went straight. Well, I say that.
Wrong use of. Yeah, that's not the word you want to use.
So he went, he did what he did.
He went forward.
Yeah, he did his thing last night.
Since 1979, every president's been talking about, we're not going to let them do this, we're not going to let them do that. Well, nobody did a damn thing until Donald Trump came along. And within 32 days and a couple of weeks to go, he's going to take the largest state sponsor of terrorism and grind it into ashes. He has destroyed their ability to acquire a nuclear weapon for decades. He's put them out of the ballistic missile business, and he's offering them a deal. And if they don't take it, he's going to blow up everything they got.
That is not nice, Chad. God, that is not very nice. See what I did there?
You kind of combine two different subjects.
He wasn't finished.
Here's what President Trump said tonight. If you're in Iran, you better be listening. I'm willing to do a deal to make sure you don't become the largest state sponsor of terrorism again. I'm willing to do a deal that will allow you to exist under certain conditions. You have to change your behavior. But if you don't do a deal, I'm going to decimate your ability to come back economically.
Oh, you guys get what we're doing there? That song's an anthem. Give him into a push. You're a 70-year-old man holding a wand at a park for kids.
With pink socks on.
Yes. See where we're going there, Linz? I'm coming now. And as he's going to Disneyland, remember, he wants your kids to go fight for Israel in America. Well, mostly fight for Israel. Feel free to do that. So, I don't know. I could see, 3 days for them to do something. If they were going to go in there and try to procure it, this would be the time to do it. This would be. And they bombed a bunch of stuff today. What did he said he blew Iran just attacked the Oracle data center in Dubai. And U.S. jets at Jordan's Al Zarak base. So, man, they hit that data center. Did you see yesterday Iran released it wasn't a meme. It was just a picture of with all of the American companies that are situated, like Amazon. They hit Amazon yesterday. Now they got Oracle. They're going to go after, their thing is we're going to hit we're going to make everybody's life miserable. Their nuclear weapon is the economy. And the pressure that is going to be put on the American media is not so much because they like the war because it's good for business. I know it sounds weird, but it's true. But the Europeans and in Asia, they're going to start calling up going, you broke it, man. Well, you should help. We didn't want to get into it. Well, he could have got they could have had a ballistic missile that could have reached you. They weren't worried about it. Let them worry about that, right? Like, don't use them as the scapegoat to do this. That's the issue that he's going to have. And because they recognize all of us, democracies, we vote our people in. And when you vote people in, they look at the economy. And if the economy's not going well, then the thought is, well, they'll vote people out. So, the Oracle, they hit the Oracle people. That's got to piss.
It's that chick from Matrix, right?
Oh, what was her name?
Oracle.
The Oracle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's her.
Okay.
They blew her up. I don't even know what she was doing there. So this is in Dubai. So, and apparently there was 2 drones that targeted a U.S. diplomatic facility near Baghdad in the airport. So this is, there's a chance this thing could get a little spicy over the next couple of days, especially with it being a 3-day weekend for a lot of people. Man, this is how far we're removed from right now. The, because we're getting ready to move. We're doing all this stuff. I didn't even think about Easter this weekend. Can you believe that? That's so weird. That is so bizarre. Did you even think it was this Easter this weekend? I thought it was next weekend.
No, I that's one of those holidays I can never keep track of because it moves in a weird way.
It moves. Keep it at one spot, okay? All right?
You guys Thanksgiving, always the 3rd Thursday of the month.
Yes.
That I always know where that is. But Christmas is always the 25th, and January 1st always New Year's, but Easter,
Halloween is always the 31st.
Easter bounces around. It's like it doesn't want to, it's dodging bullets.
Thank God, because I thought it was next. I almost bought a giant bunny suit to wear in next Friday because I thought Easter was going to be on. I thought it was next Sunday.
Well, you're going to need it anyway, so just go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, and it was one of those deranged Easter bunnies. You know, the ones with the head where it looks like.
From like Donnie Darko?
Yeah, one of those. One of those totally creepy, the worst Easter ever kind of thing. Absolutely. All right, coming up, we're going to wrap it up on this beautiful Thursday as we head into Good Friday, which will be tomorrow. What do you always play? Pisses Matt off? Friday Eve?
Yeah, it's Friday Eve all day long on the Matt Murphy Show.
That's right. And then when that happens, what happens after that?
He gives me a dirty look.
And then?
Then he just does his show.
But he says what happens? What's the tragedy that comes out of that?
Oh, dead puppies.
That's not a good thing. That sucks. We'll wrap it up straight.